Leasing versus financing. I know all the arguments against leasing. A lot of people are opposed to it. They have a bad opinion, or they've been told that leasing is bad. I know all the arguments. You got to worry about mileage limits. You got to worry about wear and tear. It's not an asset. You don't own it. You're just paying like a rental fee. So let's get into it, right? So I'm the lease guy. I don't recommend leasing in all circumstances. I don't lease every car I have. I own a car and I lease a car. So let's talk about financing first. So let me ask you something. If you're a person who finances brand new cars, let's think back over the last 10 years. How many years over the last decade have you not had a car payment? What I mean is, how many cars have you paid to zero and then driven with no car payment for several years, right? That's the best way to finance. If you're doing that, you're winning. You're spending the least amount over a period of time to drive a car. But, the argument against leasing is you always have a car payment. But let's think about it. If you're financing brand new cars and you're always back at the dealership every 3 or 4 years, trading them in before they're paid off, possibly being upside down, or the day you pay one off, you're right back at the dealership getting yourself right back into a car payment. Now, the two are slightly different. We'll touch on it. Then you always have a car payment too. Your payment's just higher than somebody who's leasing, who probably also has, gets a new car a little bit more often than you do. Or if you're getting a car as often as someone who's leasing, why aren't you leasing, right? And let's talk about, the mileage, the wear and tear. So if you're back at the dealership with a car that's financed that has a note on it, you better hope you took good care of it. You better have kept the mileage reasonable. You're hoping that value covers your note. If it doesn't, you're upside down. You have to pay the difference. Same idea with a car that you pay off to zero and then you're right back at the dealership. You're hoping that car has value left, and it should, right? You've paid it off. You don't have anything you owe on it. But how well you've taken care of it, how many miles you've put on it is going to determine how much value it actually has to put towards the next vehicle. Is that really worth paying for the whole car just to immediately sell it the second you pay it off? So in my opinion, if you're not keeping cars 8 to 10 years that are financed, paid off to zero after 5, driving for 5 years with no car payment, then you're just paying more for the same period of time when you could be leasing the same car for a lower payment and get a new car more often, every 3 years instead of 4 if they're back at the dealership trading them in. So it's all about how long you're going to keep a car. And if you're going to finance it and try and trade in, you got to take care of it just like it's a lease. You got to keep the mileage low. You got to keep the wear and tear down and hope it holds its value. So, and on a lease, if you need higher mileage, you can pay a little bit more for higher mileage. Every time you bump up the mileage from 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 18,000, even 20,000 miles per year, it usually changes the payment depending upon the price of the car and the depreciation rate of like $20, $30 a month. It may be less, maybe more, but it's not a huge difference. But you can plan ahead and get mileage that you need, and you can just pay less for the same vehicle for the same period of time. So once again, I'm Adam the Lease Guy. If you are thinking about leasing and deciding between leasing or financing, just ask yourself, how long am I going to keep this car? If you're not going to keep it for 10 years, 8 to 10, why don't you just go ahead and rent it, get the mileage you need, take care of it like you would have to if you financed it and tried to trade it in anyways. It's really just going to save you money. That period of time, you'll have a lower car payment than someone who's financing that same car. All right, guys, I'm Adam the Lease Guy. My little helper fell asleep back here in the carpool line, picking up big sis today. I love making these videos in the carpool line for you guys. So if you like this and it was helpful, please like, subscribe, and come back for more.